brother. Mainstream media. Government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Welcome to the Alex Jones Show. It is another Monday, and this is Mike Adams filling in for Alex today, who is no doubt still working today because he just never stops working. We've got an incredible lineup of news for you here today. Breaking news on several fronts. We've got some hard-hitting guests joining us, including in the third hour, a U.S. Army medic who was court-martialed for refusing vaccines, but even going through the legal process in the military to have a religious exemption to those vaccines. He was threatened with being fragged, among other things. He's going to join us in the third hour. In the second hour, we're joined by Jon Rappoport from NoMoreFakeNews.com we are going to tear into the breaking news now about the drug companies and the fraud and the bribery and the spiked vaccine test results. We now have evidence, virtually proof at this point, whistleblowers from inside Merck who say that they caught their company spiking the mumps vaccine with animal antibodies to fake the efficacy rate in order to defraud the U.S. government and lie to the FDA. And they say that, in fact, Merck's behavior, according to their allegations, which were filed in a False Claims Act that's now a matter of public record, they say that Merck actually, through their actions, contributed to the spread of infectious disease and thereby allowed them to sell more vaccines because the disease was spreading. Gee, we're vindicated yet again here in the alternative media, which is becoming the new mainstream media, the only truth-telling media left on the planet, it seems. We've got that story coming up in the second hour. Also, here in the first hour, I've got a review of the new video just put out yesterday by Alex Jones and the InfoWars crew, Humanity's Greatest Secret. I'm going to talk about that and tell you why that is such a big deal and why the big picture perspective here is so on target to what really matters. We are talking about the future of human civilization. It's why we've got to defeat the tyranny. We've got to defeat the globalists. We've got to defeat the genetic intervention of the future of life on Earth, because the very future of humanity is at stake. And I'll tell you why coming up in the bottom of this first hour. But before then, now some of the breaking news today. Check this out. Well, let's start with the simple stuff, and then we'll get into the more fascinating things. But a poll, the Hill poll, says the majority of Americans now believe Obama has changed the country for the worse. 56% of likely voters, they say, believe Obama's first term has transformed the nation in a negative way. You think? You think? Yeah, maybe. And 35% believe the country has changed for the better. Like, where are these 35%? I'm curious about those people. Do they think we should run more guns into Mexico? Do they think we should destroy more of the Bill of Rights? I mean, how many amendments are remaining before they stamp them all out? Anyway, that's an interesting poll at thehill.com. Here's something interesting. A family was slugged with a carbon tax for the funeral. So while they were grieving for the loss of a loved one, they got slapped with a carbon tax for burying their family member. And it seems like the cemetery here had to apologize because they said, quote, even the dead don't escape the carbon tax. Yeah, nothing certain but death and taxes, and now carbon taxes when you're dead. That's what it's all coming to. Al Gore should be happy. I guess we're all going to keep paying taxes as our bodies decompose and release elements into the atmosphere. We're going to be taxed on that as well. Now, McDonald's is sponsoring the Olympics, which is raising question marks with anyone who knows anything about nutrition and health. Really? You're going to have a high-calorie, high-sodium, fast food, processed food company sponsoring the Olympics, which is supposed to be about elite athletes and peak human performance? That's a strange question. Anyway, got a lot more news coming up, including a story from WorldNet Daily and much more straight ahead here on The Alex Jones Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back, and we will continue. Stay with us. And folks, Mike Adams filling in for Alex Jones today. You are on the Alex Jones channel, listening to the tip of the spear of truth-telling news in its worldwide broadcast on this Monday in July. So thank you for joining us. We've got an incredible show lined up for you. Key guests ahead. We've got a lot of evidence that has come out now showing that Merck faked its vaccine studies regarding mumps vaccine, and that according to the whistleblowers at Merck, the company has defrauded the U.S. government and other governments of hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions, over the years. We've got that story coming up. We've got, what is that, a drone outside? It's like I hear something coming in. We're being grazed by weird machines out there. I think it's just actually lawn care people. No big deal. We've got Jon Rappoport coming up in that segment. Then we've got a U.S. Army medic who was court-martialed because of his religious exemption for vaccines. And he's going to be joining us by Skype in the third hour to talk about how he was threatened with even being fragged and what he had to go through, the abuse that he had to go through because he just did not want to be injected with an experimental vaccine. And so these stories tie together where we're talking about the big lie of the vaccines and then how it's happening in the military, that these people are being so pressured to undergo the vaccines. In fact, we have another story here about the military. Let me dig this out of the stack because there's just so much here. Here it is. What is this? Was it called the Medal of Honor, the False Valor Act? Is that what it was called? Anyway, the Supreme Court, at the same time that it ruled in favor of Obamacare as a tax, by the way, also ruled that it is a free speech right for any person in America to claim that they are a Medal of Honor winner, that you can't have a law that provides penalties for lying about winning the Medal of Honor. Now this, predictably, is getting a lot of veterans really angry, and I'm with them on that. I think that the Medal of Honor is something that's special, right? I mean, you have to earn that. You don't just, it's not given out at Halloween like candy. This is, and the other military medals are earned by people who put their lives on the line. And then to allow someone else to go out there and just say, oh, I won the Medal of Honor, and I won this, and I won that, and I served here, and I served there. What if those are complete lies? To allow someone to lie about that, just basically, it devalues the true value of the medal for those who really earned it, who really put their lives on the line, and all those who would have earned it had they lived through their encounters. So there you go, the Supreme Court saying that it's your free speech right to lie about the Medal of Honor. Isn't that interesting? So you don't have free speech to protest anywhere near the president. You don't have free speech to tell the truth about a nutritional supplement and how it might prevent arthritis or prevent cancer. Oh, you don't have that free speech right, but you do have the free speech right to lie about winning the Medal of Honor. Wow, where's the honor in that? See, that's the thing. That's what's happening in America. The honor is disappearing, and it's okay to lie, but you are punished for telling the truth. That's the real contradiction that is emerging in this culture of total runaway government criminality, the thuggish behavior, the complete deception, the lying, the unethical behavior, the pedophiles at the TSA, and much more. This is what's taking over our country today. But moving on with other news, natural and organic items are grabbing a bigger share in the marketplace. This is interesting because it shows that people are paying attention to what they put in their bodies. Hey, maybe they don't want to get cancer from eating a lot of pesticides. But I got a warning to tell you, my nickname is the Health Ranger. This is the area that I study the most. A lot of the so-called natural claims on products are completely bogus. Not all of them, but the word natural, just so you know, is not regulated by the FDA in any way whatsoever. So anybody can make any product, a snack chip, a soda, even with aspartame in it, and they can claim it's natural. Anybody can claim anything is natural. It's not regulated. So beware of that term. Make sure you read the ingredients and know what you're actually getting. But anyway, the natural and organic grocery sector market is growing very rapidly. Here's something that'll freak you out. You know the highly addictive pain-killing drug OxyContin. You know about this drug. You've heard about all the addicts and all the break-ins in the pharmacies of people trying to steal this drug and how it can destroy people's lives once they get hooked on the drug and then they need it and they can't get off the drug. and then they go to other transition drugs, and their lives are just destroyed. Well, the Wall Street Journal has an article. This was actually from a couple of days ago. I got a printout right here in front of me. The headline, here it is, July 2nd. The headline is OxyContin trial planned for kids, for children. Children as young as 6 years old, 6 to 16, are going to be brought into a clinical trial to study the effects of 2 daily doses of OxyContin on these 6-year-old children who have, quote, moderate to severe pain, who require opioid analgesics. Opioids, yeah, right. So now, okay, let me get this straight. Welcome to America. You don't have the free speech right to tell the truth about nutrition, but we do in the airports sexually molest the children through the TSA agents, and now we're going to put children on highly addictive pain-killing drugs when they're 6 years old, not to mention shooting them up with endless vaccines, which we're going to show later in this show how at least one of those has been completely faked for over 10 years. Faked. We're going to show that. We're going to have a whole segment on that in the second hour here. And then on top of that, they put these kids on psychiatric drugs, the mind-altering psych drugs, the SSRIs, the antidepressants, the psychotropics. Aren't children supposed to be sacred? Isn't life supposed to be sacred? Aren't children supposed to be protected against this kind of exploitation by the drug companies? It is insane that we allow pedophiles to run loose in this country and we allow the drug companies to treat our children like guinea pigs. But that's what's going on. That's okay. Moving on, because I'll get into crazy areas of discussion about that topic. This is in Forbes. Forbes, an article by Larry Bell. You may have already seen this. I think Alex mentioned it yesterday. The UN agreement should have all gun owners up in arms. This is the UN agreement, the Small Arms Treaty. And in this article by Larry Bell, he points out that if this is passed by the UN and then ratified by the U.S. Senate, here's what it's going to mean. Are you ready for this? Here's what it's going to mean. All of you legal, lawful gun owners out there, listen up. It's going to, quote, ban the sale, trade, and private ownership of all semi-automatic weapons. Yeah, semi-autos. That means, you know, you pull the trigger once, you get one shot. All going to be banned. And there's going to be an international gun registry. So if you own a gun, you're supposed to register with the UN. How's that for globalist control? And, they're going to confiscate and destroy all, quote, unauthorized civilian firearms. Well, what are unauthorized firearms? Well, the ones that Obama says you shouldn't have, basically, or the UN says you shouldn't have. Unauthorized firearms would be any firearms that function. You know, it's funny, being here in Austin, Texas, I just laugh at this, at the idea that the UN thinks they're going to roll into Texas and confiscate everybody's guns. That is a pathetic and a hilarious idea at the same time. That is never going to happen. Never going to happen. Just try it. Oh, man, the UN people don't know Texas, let me tell you. All right, moving on. Cell phone radiation. The telecommunications companies do not want you to know the truth about the research between cell phones and radiation. This is up on, is this on Infowars.com right now, guys? Any idea? I think it is. Okay. Infowars.com. Check that out. The Daily Caller has a new article today. Formal complaint seeks the disbarment of Eric Holder in D.C. So they're going to try to actually disbar this top attorney in the country. Think about it. This is the guy that is the most powerful attorney in the nation in terms of just rank, you know, constitutional rank. Maybe rank is the right word, but yet he's the one who masterminded the gun running into Mexico, the complete violation of law. So there's an effort now to try to disbar him. That's been published at the Daily Caller. And Mike Vanderbone and David Cadria filed a formal complaint with the